The chip stocks have been under pressure here for the last few weeks. And the question becomes, is the AI and the chip trade losing momentum? Is this just a healthy pullback, or is this going to spell trouble for the rest of the market here in the weeks and months ahead? We're going to dive in. We're going to take a look at some of the heavy hitters in the chip space, look at some potential new trades setting up here for the next few weeks. Now let's start out with a daily chart of SMH. This is a semiconductor ETF. And if I zoom out, if we go back to earlier in the year, go back to late March into early April, we can see it has been a massive move to the upside. Everybody has been chasing the AI story, right? It's a game changer. I understand there's game-changing technology being brought to market for the first time. And there's a lot of incredible potential there. But when you see a move like this, there's an incredible amount of good news being priced in. At some point, the market's going to say, hey, these stocks are a little ahead of themselves. We've got to pull back a little bit. And that's what we started to see over the past few weeks. The reason it's important, not just for the chip space and the AI space, but that strength on the upside was masking weakness in many other areas of this market. If we lose leadership out of these names, it could definitely make things interesting for the first time in a long time. We've had an overall market that has been pinned right up near the all-time highs for a good part of this year. If we start to lose this leadership, is there enough strength in other areas of this market to pick up that leadership role and keep this pinned up at the highs? That's the million-dollar question. Now, in the near term, I believe we're heading into some very interesting areas of support that could potentially give us some bullish trades in the near term. That doesn't mean I'm putting my stake in the ground saying, hey, the low is in, go all in bullish. I think we're going to move right back up to the highs. But if I take a look here, if we zoom back in to this chart of SMH, notice what happened here at the end of the week. We came down and we tested the 89 EMA, and we found support right there initially. Not only is there a big EMA there, but we also have a swing level from back earlier in the year, from back in May, right in and around this level. If we're going to bounce, this is a perfect place to do so. Now, when I talk about a potential trade for next week, keep in mind, my outlook is what's going to happen over the next 2 to 20 days. I'm not concerned with what's going to happen in November and December. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I'm saying, is there a potential trade in the near term that could benefit from a bounce off of some oversold conditions? And we'll go over to the 130-minute chart in just a moment and talk about some potential entry points. So the key on some of these names, if I switch this over to Micron, very similar story. We've had some nice selling the last few weeks. Haven't quite tested the EMAs on Micron, but we're getting close. We're at some areas here that could potentially be of interest for a quick trade. I believe the next few months, we're going to see tradable moves in both directions. I would encourage you, don't fall in love with one side or the other. If you're a massive bull on the chip stocks and the AI stocks, great. Be open to trades on the downside in the near term, and vice versa. Right, if you believe this market is in deep trouble in the months ahead, still be open to trades on the upside because I think there's going to be some nice swings. I don't believe it's just going to be a one-way rocket ship to the upside. We've already seen that. Nor do I believe this market's going to crash. I think we're going to head into a stretch over the next few months where we're going to have very tradable swings in both directions. And I think there's going to be massive opportunity there. Right? If I take a look at AMD, AMD's actually hung in there relatively well compared to other names, but it too also had some nice selling last week. First time in a while that we've had some of these pullbacks. So we're approaching some areas of interest. And what I like to do is I like to use this daily chart just to put overall context, big picture around the market. Are we bullish? Are we bearish? Have we been more range bound? From there, I narrow it down to exact entry points on the 130-minute chart, which I'll move over to right now. If I go over to this 130-minute time frame and switch it back over to SMH, this is where I try to pinpoint where I want to put a position on. I find the 130-minute chart, it keeps us more active than the daily time frame. It allows us to react quicker to changing market conditions. And again, my typical holding time is 2 to 20 days. This is not going to be a day trade. This is certainly going to be a position that I'm going to hold for a period of a few days at a minimum. On this 130-minute chart, I mentioned I believe we're oversold in the near term. How do I quantify that? Notice my pulse indicator down at the bottom. We have a whole slew of yellow bars there. Those are indicating prices between a 1 and a 2 standard deviation move on the downside. Doesn't mean price can't move lower, but it means we're at a point now where we will oftentimes see buyers step in. If you take a look at a statistical view on this move, when you have a one standard deviation move, less than 13.6% of all occurrences fall outside of this range on the downside. Doesn't mean it can't happen, it just means it's not statistically probable. This pattern will oftentimes lead to either a period of consolidation or a bounce back higher. If that's the case, and if I'm looking to put on an options trade, if I'm expecting a bounce higher, why not just come in and buy a long call? A couple of problems. Number one, because of these massive moves higher that we've had all year on some of these chip stocks, the options are incredibly expensive. We'll show that in just a moment. Second, and more importantly for me, if I buy a long call, I have one way of making money. The stock has to move to the upside, and it's got to do so quickly. Well, what happens if we just chop sideways? The time decay is going to add up. It's going to hurt that position. I would rather have on a trade that puts the odds in my favor and gives me 5 ways of making money, which is what I'm going to do by selling a put credit spread. Gives me a more forgiving trade, ties up less capital, and gives me a higher probability of success. That's the type of trade that I want to put in, not to mention we're here in the middle of July. Tends to be one of the slower stretches of the year. I want to put that time decay in my favor as much as possible. If I go over to Micron, I can go through all of these names one by one, and you're going to see a very similar story. Micron, oversold. We have yellow bars popping up on the pulse. We're at a one standard deviation move on the downside. There's an opportunity in here looking for a bounce higher. AMD, same story. Yellow bars popping up. It's not a surprise because a lot of these names are correlated right now. Just with the whole chip stock story, the whole AI story, it's no surprise that these stocks are moving together quite a bit. So there's definitely opportunities in here. Now let's talk about some exact entry details. How do I structure these trades? If I go over to the trade page, if I were to take a look at a Micron, normally for me on these trades, I'm going to go out around 20 days. Is very typical. If I'm only looking to hold 2 to 20 days, why go out the full 20 days? I want to have a little bit of a cushion on my side. Just in case we don't get an immediate directional move, I want to have a little bit of time on my side. Well, the problem with going out 20 days, if I take a look at buying a long call here, going out 20 days on Micron, you're talking about potentially close to $10,000 per contract. Even if you go to some cheap out of the money options or some cheap weekly options, only a few days left, you're still talking about potentially $4,000 or $5,000 per contract. That's intimidating for a lot of retail traders. It's tying up way too much capital. And I see so many retail traders right now putting way too much risk into one trade. I want to keep that risk as small as possible. The opportunity is there, but it's all a numbers game, right? We don't know which trades are going to win, which trades are going to lose. But what we do know is if we continue to stay disciplined to a rule set and to a system, the numbers are going to work out in my favor long term. I don't want everything I've got into one trade because if that trade loses, there's no way I can take advantage of those numbers long term. So if I take a look at Micron and go out to the 740-735 put spread, all that means is I'm trading two options at the same time. I'm selling the 740 put, I'm buying the 735 put at the same time. Now look what that does to the cost. It says 285 mid price. We're not going to be able to get filled there, right? Markets just got wide into the close on a Friday. But let's just say we put this trade on. We take a look at it Monday morning, and it's trading for $1.75. Probably a more realistic price depending on where it opens on Monday. I would be collecting $175 per spread, risking $325 of my capital. I went from talking about between $5,000 and $10,000 to buy a long call that would only give me one way of making money, to now I'm selling a put spread. My max risk is $325. Much more reasonable, right? Now, it doesn't mean you have to trade one spread. You could trade 5 or 10 spreads. You're still getting a drastic cost savings. And in this case, this trade gives me 5 ways of making money. Up, down, or sideways, as long as price stays above 740, I'm okay. The time decay helps us, and the volatility contraction helps us as well. Any combination of those 5 will help me. Right now, in this case, I make $175 per spread max. If the stock moves to the upside, if we stay above 740, we make money. How? Because the time decay helps me, right? So really nice trade opportunity there on Micron. Let's go over to SMH. Again, a lot of these have very similar looking chart patterns. We're heading into support. We're oversold in the near term. Let's take a look at SMH. And now let's go out to, let's see if we can get out to the 515 put. It's a $550 stock. The options, again, are $3,000-$4,000 just to buy an individual call or put. So let's take a look at selling another put spread. Let's go to the 515, 510 put credit spread. Trading for $1.27. In this case, I'd be risking $373 to make $127. I like to risk between 2 and 3 to make 1 on my credit spreads. I'm okay with that ratio because, again, we have 5 ways of making money on this one. Up, down, or sideways, as long as price stays above our short strike at 515, I'm okay. The time decay helps me, and the volatility contraction helps me as well. Any combination of those 5, I'm okay with. The ideal scenario is for the stock to move higher. That's going to push me into profit the quickest. But if we just sit here and stay in that summertime chop, I'm okay with that because now the time decay helps me as well. All right, now if we were to put this trade on Monday morning, the $127, that's my max profit. It's the most I can make on the trade. I like to close these out when we're at 50% of max profit. So I'd like to close this one out for 63 cents. That would allow me to keep 50% of the max profit, close out of the trade, and move on to the next position. On the stop side, if the trade goes against me, I'm going to take that 373 max risk. I'm going to take 70% of it, which is 261. I'd want to get out when the spread is down $261 per spread. To get my stop price, I take that 261 and I add in my 127 credit that I'm collecting to open up the position. And I would leave my stop at $3.88. So now everything's defined for me. I'm not tying up a lot of capital. I'm tying up a few $100s of capital versus thousands of dollars of capital. If I want to take on multiple spreads, perfect. I can just adjust my position size. The trade doesn't change. I'm still using the same metrics to gauge this position. So if I start to go through, whether it's Micron, SMH, AMD, there are opportunities going into next week, and I'll be the first to admit, maybe we get into early in the week, we see a bounce higher, we close these positions out. I have no problem flipping right back around to the bearish side. There's certainly opportunities in both directions. Key points here. Number one, if you're going to trade the chip stocks, the AI stocks, the options are pricey. Make sure you're using the right strategies. Keep that risk small. Look for the more forgiving trades right now. Markets are volatile. We're seeing more Iran headlines again. We're seeing some risk pop into this market. Keep that risk small and be open to trades in both directions. There's going to be opportunities in both directions here in the weeks and months ahead. I think it's going to be a very good time for options traders as long as you are open to trades in both directions. And as long as you have a criteria in place that puts the numbers in your favor. So I believe we're in for a potential bounce in the near term on the chip stocks. We'll see if that plays out. As always, if you have questions on any of these trades, anything that we've talked through in this video, feel free to leave a comment or you can email us info@netpicks.com. More than willing to help out there. We also have a link in the description of the video. Go ahead and click on that link. We'll get you some additional resources on how we trade options at NetPicks. So if you like this video, click on that like and subscribe button. It really helps us out, and we hope to get more videos here to you in the days and weeks ahead. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys, and we will talk to you again early next week.